Are you looking for an all-electric car and you want the perfect all-electric car? And you've been looking at Teslas, which are pretty expensive. You've been looking at the Ford Mach-E, which is a darn nice vehicle, but you haven't found that right mix yet. You want a four-door sedan? Well, this Hyundai Ioniq6 actually is the perfect all-electric sedan. It's William West Hopper from the real DC Car Guy, and I am here with the 2023 Hyundai Ioniq6. Now, one of the things with electric vehicles these days is everything's either a crossover or an SUV. You don't see a lot of mid-size electric sedans with a trunk. Yes, this is a four-door car with a trunk. It is a sedan, sort of an executive sedan. Actually, it's almost a luxury sedan, and it's the right size. Now let's have a look at the overall design of the Hyundai Ioniq6. The proximity key recognized that I was here. It activated the door handles and brought out the rear view mirrors for us, which is great. It has a very sloping line, very aerodynamic, which is important in an electric vehicle. I liken the back of this vehicle to the early Infinitis, the J series, with that sloping rear. And it continues through to the sloping front as well. The doors are very easily accessible. They're wide, so you're going to be able to get in and out of it. And that's especially important for older folks who might have some mobility issues. Now with sedans, the big thing is you want to carry people in it. This is not a cargo carrier like you'd find in an SUV or a crossover. Well, first of all, it's very comfortable here. This vehicle does have a sunroof, and the sunroof does slide out, but it doesn't impede in the headroom in the rear of the vehicle. We do have a fold-down armrest. There is not a pass-through here. So if you were trying to carry skis or something, you couldn't do it. But we do have 40-60 rear seat backs in the back seat that fold down to extend cargo space in the trunk, which is great. So you can carry longer items in the trunk, but also carry somebody as a passenger in the back seat. Very nicely done. Now this has a nice clean interior. So the upholstery in the back matches the front. Very nicely done. We have two map pockets, which are rare these days. Air controllers right here for the rear seats. Two USB-C outlets, which is nice. There's a little kubi down here. There are kubis on either side, and there's a little kubi here, as well as the area to hold on and to pull your door closed. Inside we have grab handles, and there is, in the back seat of this vehicle, clothes hanger hooks on the left side, but not on the right side, which is great. Pretty basic in the back, but very comfortable. Seating is good. I'm about 5'10", and my head's right there. There's about an inch more. So if you're really tall, you're probably not going to fit well back in here. I have the front seat set where I'm comfortable, and it's a little longer, but there's lots of leg room back here. And of course, no center hump because this is an electric vehicle. So very, very comfortable in the back seat. Now the Ioniq6 is very easy to get in and out of. Ergonomics are great. It does have a push button start, which is nice. It has a nice big screen here, which has the driver display in front of it, and then has the map and other information that you would use, navigation and radio and everything where you would expect it. Two nice big air vents on the side. HVAC controls down here. Now everything here is just a touch screen for it, but there are actual buttons to hit certain things like map, navigation, media, something special, tune, volume, and the cameras. Now this has great cameras on it. I've got to say I really like the cameras. And something that I've been quite impressed with is the fact that it has a wireless charger right here. But the best part is you can still see your phone. And That's kind of hard these days because you can't really find a lot of cars that have a place where you can see your phone. Now, something that I found interesting in this car, center controls for the windows. They're right here, as opposed to having 4 controls over here and then a control at each of the doors. In the back, of course, there's controls for the windows, but for up front, our window controls are here, as well as the locks, auto hold, and to lock the rear windows. 1 USB-A port here, but there's also 2 USB-C ports here inside of the console, which is really nice. And it has a nice solid console. It has a nice feel to it. Interior finishes are nice. Now, I think this vehicle could be considered a luxury car with just a little bit more on it. But it's really sort of a mid-size, executive sedan as opposed to a luxury sedan. Everything's sort of plastic, but it has a nice feel to it. This has a nice look to it, sort of that pixelated design that you see elsewhere in the vehicle. Up above, there's lights here and controls, and this does have a sunroof, an operable glass sunroof, so maybe it's a moonroof. You know, I've complained on some of my other videos that the glass solid roofs are not operable, and some of them don't even have sunshades. This has a sunshade. I personally like fresh air coming in, and this has it. Now, this roof does open up on the back of the car, open up outside the car, so it doesn't take up headroom inside the vehicle. Inside, it's a great driving vehicle. You have a nice mirror situation here. It has the home links there. It is not a digital mirror, though. That's something that you don't have. You have your different buttons up here for lights and controls, so that's good. And let's have a look here. This does have a sliding out sun visor, which I like. It also has a lighted vanity mirror, so you open this up, but you have a little switch here to turn your light on. So really like the fact that it has that on it. Now, one of the things I find interesting with this vehicle is it does have the transmission stalk down here. You push in for park, turn down for reverse, turn up for drive. It does have paddle shifters, quote unquote, for regenerative braking, and this vehicle will go all the way down and go into one pedal driving, which is really nice. Windshield wiper controls on this side, light controls on that side. So pretty much everything is where you would expect it in a car, in most cars today. It has drive modes, so you can go from sport to eco to normal. It doesn't really change the ride. It changes the dynamics, and of course it does change the electric usage for it. So if you want to go and make sure you get as most miles per charge than you would do eco. Normal is just for running around, and sport's going to give you a little bit more of a dynamic feel and dynamic ride to it. In general, I really, really like the interior of this vehicle, but what I like even more so is the ride and the comfort and the performance that the Hyundai Ioniq6 offers. I really love driving this vehicle. All right. Now, what's different about this car than, say, the Ioniq 5? Well, the Ioniq 5 is more of a hatchback, while this is a 4-door sedan with a trunk. And it's a mid-size sedan, which you don't see a whole lot of. This is an all-electric sedan. We got about, I'd say, 325 on a charge. We charged at home on a level 1 charger, basically a 110, 120 plug-in in our garage on a regular outlet, so that worked out just fine. So let's go ahead and take it out for a drive and see what we think. So one of the things that I really like about this vehicle is it's very, very quiet. Now, if you don't want quiet, you can change that. Change it to the active sound, so or make it moderate noises. Smallest noises. But honestly, I don't think we need the sound of a spaceship So I'm going to turn that off. And why they have that, who knows? Is it making it outside? That I don't know, but maybe that's what it is, because a lot of people do complain that electric cars are so quiet that nobody hears them coming down the road. So we're going to go back to no sound. You hear a little sound of the electric motors, but that's about it. It's certainly not that spaceship taking off sound. Things that I find really nice about this vehicle is how well it handles, and you don't have to put it into sport mode for it to handle even better. So let's see, it's in sport now, and it's a little bit more reactive in sport mode. Pretty comfortable over the rougher roads and bumps. It's not as rough as you might find in a shorter wheelbase vehicle or in a sports utility vehicle. But then again, this is not a sports utility vehicle. Handling on the highway is really good. You've got excellent visibility when I turn the turn signals on. The nice thing about any Hyundai vehicle is that it shows a little picture of what's right in your blind spot there on the outside, which is really good on a highway, and it's also good when you're in suburban streets. So you can see if Timmy's there on his little bicycle or scooter, or if the dog is out there somewhere running around when you're turning. So really nice. The front of the Ioniq6, very aerodynamic with a nice flow to it. Almost an early Japanese sports car look here, just very flowing up, muscular haunches here. There's lots of safety senses in this vehicle, which is really nice. All the little sensors here which tell you when you're close to something when you're parking. As a matter of fact, I think it's almost a little too intuitive, because when I pulled up to a large telephone pole beside me when I was at a stop sign, it told me that there was something right there, and there was. Cameras everywhere and sensors everywhere. Now the question is, does this Hyundai Ioniq6 have a frunk? Let's have a look. And why it does have a little frunkette is what I'm going to call it. There is a little space here to put something in. You could hide something here, but I don't think you would. Like all of the Hyundai Ioniq products, early first-gen Hyundai Ioniq and the Hyundai Ioniq6, all of the mechanical pieces are up here, the motors and all of the things that you need here, including the 12-volt battery that runs the accessories. So pretty much everything's right up here. The back of the Hyundai Ioniq6, it's a little complicated. It's got a couple of spoilers. There is a high brake light here with a pixelate design on the top, which you'd think might light up, but it doesn't. Just this part here lights up. This pixelated back, which seems to be Hyundai's design element right now, with its tail light there. Another spoiler here, the bumper, and these little bumper guards, which I don't think do much. Actually, I think they kind of detract a little bit. They kind of take your eye away from all the flow that goes through there. The rear window is very easy to look out from the inside, nice and flowing, and of course the shark fin antenna on the back of the vehicle. Now let's talk about the trunk space of the Ioniq6. And yes, it does have a proximity key, so when you're near the back end, it will open automatically. It also has a button right here to open the trunk, which is very good. And there's a lot of space inside this trunk. There are two handles here to be able to release those rear seat backs, so you can have the 40/60 rear seat fold down. You can have one or the other or both to give you an extended space in the trunk. I want to thank you for watching this episode of The Real DC Car Guy. And if you like this video, give us a thumbs up and subscribe for more car and truck reviews and stories about the automotive lifestyle. Until next time. So yes, The Real DC Car Guy audience, the Hyundai Ioniq6 is your best electric vehicle for 2023. Bar none. There are a lot of electric vehicles out there, but I don't think you're going to find one with as much that it offers as this Ioniq 6 offers. It is really top of the line for the $58,000 price tag.